So to that point, let's talk through some of the ways for your business, because not only are you a producing agent, you are a co-owner of your own brokerage. I mean, you're a busy guy. So, I mean, what are some of your, walk us through, just how you keep your productivity and your business organized. So what is your schedule from the moment you wake up until the end of your working day?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think it ebbs and flows, right, with the season, but I'm up at 3:45, so I get up pretty early. And that gives me time to really spend some time in meditation and visualization. That's where I really start my day. I do that usually with a cup of coffee and some water so I don't fall back asleep. But that then rolls into what I like to call stacking. So part of the coaching company that I started, Become the Standard, we have this thing called stacking, and that is just like a series of prompted questions that guides you and then leads you kind of like through whatever came up in your meditation. And at the end of that, it gives you take an action out of that for your day. So that really kind of grounds my day. From there, I go to the gym, work out for about an hour, come back. The reason I'm waking up so early is because I want to give my wife time to then go to the gym. So she's going to go to the gym when I get back. I'm going to watch and get to hang out with my son, Luca, as I get ready. When she gets home, that's when I really get into work. And so I have a productivity tool that I like to use. So the way I think about this is every Sunday I plan out my week, right? Like I have all the possibilities of the things that I can do. And then I create a hit list, and that's a hit list from Monday, Tuesday through Friday. And usually that hit list is filled with things that are important, but not urgent, right? So like I'm trying to pull the future stuff into today, because like the regular stuff that I'm doing in my business, right? Like making the phone calls, connecting with people on social. I like to do these things called real estate reviews, which is basically just a glorified CMA.
Okay.
Follow up with my clients, and then posting content, right? So that's kind of like my morning, right? Those are the things that I'd like to get done. And then that hit list, right? These are the activities that I know that like they're out in the future. They're not super urgent, but by pulling them to today, they make my business gain some momentum. So an example of that would be planning a client appreciation party, right? Like that's way in the future. I don't have to think about it, but if I start it now, then I can start to get that stuff planned out, and maybe I could do two. Or another version of that would be I'm starting this new marketing campaign to my clients where I'm asking them for a referral through a charity of choice program, where if they send me a client and we successfully close on a home, I'll donate $250 to a charity of their choice. So I have to build out the content and the email campaign and all of that. Urgent, not important. Like if I don't do it for a year, not a big deal. But if I do it, how does that accelerate my business? And so it's this modulation between those two things from the time I start working around 9 until I usually finish around 5:36. And I put my phone on silent mode right around 6 o'clock. Like I don't do any more real estate after that. I'm really trying to be with my family, and I tell my clients that, I tell the other agents that, and I just always preface it with like, hey man, nobody wants to make an important decision when they're tired. Let's save this for tomorrow. And so that's kind of been the mode of operations for me. And then I take Sundays off.
I love it. I love it. And it's funny you mentioned that because I run a team out here as well. And my office hours are literally from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Simply because work-life balance is incredibly important to me. And you hear, of course, we're still a little bit of that hustle culture, grind your face off. And I realize now, especially the older that we get, you've got to do honestly more rest the older that you get than the work. Meaning that if you are working smarter and not harder, well, maybe you can get 8 hours worth of work done in 4 hours, and then you have four extra hours. You've bought back your time, if you will, which is the goal anyway of entrepreneurism, right? Or we all should just be, working a 9 to 5 and call it a day. But you have to put those stop gaps and not be fearful, because you may think, oh well, if I cut off my time at 6, this client's not going to want to work with me. But if you educate the client, if you educate your other agents that you're working with, they will know out of the gate that you are, one, a disciplined individual. Two, if it's something that's very, very important, you better get that information to me before time. And three, ultimately, that your time alone or your time away from work is the most important thing for you. So I think that that's an incredibly amazing modus operandi, as they say, to
Yeah.
run your business. And I'm sure you've still seen growth, even though you aren't working until 11 o'clock at night.
So one of my coaches, he talks about playing the game above the game. And what he was saying is like, listen, that hustle and grind culture, that's not entrepreneurship. That's being a hustler. Nothing wrong with it, but you have to recognize that's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is taking that one level higher, delegating the work, leveraging the activities that you know are more important. And so when I started to operate that way, when I stopped trying to like pound a square peg into a round hole over and over again, my business took off. I mean, I went from 31 transactions my first year, 36 transactions my second year. And I was like, I can't keep, I almost quit. And then the last 3 years in a row has been 52. And I've worked less, right, than I did before. And I'm less stressed. Spend more time with my wife and my kids. She recognizes it. Right. And so like you get to a spot where you're not operating out of scarcity, but you feel like this abundance. And like a lot of new agents are going to be like, yeah, but that's you. I'm not in that state of business. I get that. But there's parts where you can start to change that narrative and be in control of your process that's going to allow you to move in that direction. I think it's huge.
Are you a real estate agent looking to jumpstart your career? Join our online agent network and gain access to the support and resources you need to succeed. One of the most effective ways to attract clients in this industry is through social media. And I can tell you, in my entire time as a real estate professional, I have not knocked on one door, and yet I've still generated several $1 million worth of sales per year. And our team is here to help you do the same thing. Click the link in today's show notes today or visit IamTheTribe.com to learn more about this amazing opportunity.